Hello, everyone. This is Jimmy Coltis back again with another Logic video. Specifically, we're revisiting the Stealth series. It's been a bit of a long time coming. A fan requested to know this information. Sorry that it took us so long to get around to it, but a lot of stuff was happening, and also I wanted to, have a pretty good setup by the time I decided to tackle this. At least in terms of, understanding how to do it. But basically the subject we're tackling today is how to grab an enemy and escort them at gunpoint or knife point. It's a common tactic in certain stealth games, such as Metal Gear, and I believe it's in Splinter Cell as well. We're only going to be covering how to grab them and maneuver them around, so if you want to know how to do a takedown on them, or how to, I think we've already covered takedowns in a separate video, so check that out. But if you want to know how to interrogate them, we won't be covering that, sorry. Although, if anybody wants to know in a future, future video, that's something we can look into. So, I'm going to go over all of our actions. We're probably going to be using a button that we've already used before, which is triangle. Triangle goes into interact. It also goes into takedown. We don't really want takedown anymore. What we're going to be doing is grab, or you could say take hostage. It shares similarities. With, takedown, how to kill people or whatever. The difference is it's slightly, more benign, and also involves having animations on both sides. Another thing we're going to want, if we haven't already got it, tags. We're going to want something on our puppet that allows them to be teleported. I think I'll put it in tags. But just in case, I might put it separate. Essentially, also let's copy out this destroyer wire with L1 and R2 just in case. But this is going to be our tags microchip. Now there's one reason why we can't use a teleporter, and that's because usually when a puppet is under the influence of a teleporter, it stops them from moving their legs, and we want them to be able to move their legs and follow with us. So we're going to be using a follower instead. We will have it set to a high speed, and it will follow a tag labeled player. And just to double check our logic, we're going to make sure that player is still here. Player is here, although I'm a little worried that since player has a NOT gate hooked up to it, it may not be active. So let's try cam instead. See, You don't want a tag that'll be inconsistent for this. You want something that's constantly on. So that should do nicely. We're also going to have to turn off detection, so we'll be putting this down here. Detection off. Actually, we might be able to copy some of this logic over from our takedown video if we still have it. I think we've got the takedown logic in here. Player teller. We'll check and see what this keyframe connects to. Turns off his procedural animations, which we don't really want that. What we do want to do is turn off detection and actions. Make sure you set it to keyframe mode on the action recorder. And have it set to loop. Let's go ahead and shut that down and go to alert. You could have this one labeled let's take a look at his just copy a separate one for take hostage. Because essentially we're going to be doing something similar with this. Relabeling it, it will be tag of course, and a zone big enough to pick up our input. Only instead of a death, we're going to be programming, you know, that he takes him hostage. And we won't be doing the player teller or that, so instead we're going to be putting him into a state of sorts. Possibly you could put it on here if you wanted to. Like you could have it so that there's a chip called hostage. It would just save on selectors, probably. Called hostage. Just hook up that to the cam follower so that this, when it's on, will automatically do what we want it to do. And stick this in C. I think I'm also going to copy this action recorder to here. The simple reason that I do want to shut off detection while this is going on. We're gonna have to be really sneaky. Really sneaky. Let's take a look at our detection. We might be too, what is the word? Okay. We've got it working properly, but we're going to have to do something real quick. Which, by working properly, I mean we have the follower working properly. It's not in the correct position, which is why it's throwing him back like so. Yeah, it might not actually hurt to put a player teller on there, just to put him in the right position when he takes the, you know, the fellow hostage. Just real quick teleport him into position. I'm also going to turn off detection temporarily because the sneaking, it just takes a little bit longer to test it. And I want to be able to test it real fast. We're also going to have to reposition this thing perfectly, so let's pull it up a tad. That should put him down. We also might turn off the enemy's collision box because we kind of don't want him to be collidable during this. And we're going to put this in hostage just to replace, you know. Alright, I think we've got the position right. We're also going to have the player in a state. Which I will use a separate selector for this, just because. We'll call it holding. And we'll put the collision in there. Oh, don't forget to connect it to B. This will turn off our collisions. And we can have a little animation. We're going to have to work on the final frame first, just to get the right positioning and whatnot. At least we've got him maneuvering correctly. And another thing we're going to have to do with the enemy is you may notice that he doesn't really align with the direction we're pointing. So we're going to need a look at rotator. Turn off Y strength so that he won't go up and down with our character. And this will make him always point towards cam no matter what's going on. Which should work pretty great. We don't need this in tags, we could put this in hostage, probably better. Honestly, we could also put this in hostage, just seems like it'd be better to have everything in one neat little place, that way we won't be confused. Alright, he's facing us. However, I'm a bit confused as to why he isn't following our camera tag. I mean, he is and he isn't. He should be in front of us, but he's more or less, you know, over here. I think we're going to have to create a separate tag just for him. So, cam is out the window. It's now grabbed. Because we want him to kind of stay in front of us, and he's not really doing that precisely. This will involve changing the name of our follower to grabbed, of course, and moving it ahead just a little bit, you know, closer to the center of his mass. And we'll reposition it, of course. Let's make sure that we have our tag in the correct position. So grabbed is right there. Using L1 and square, we can just move this right into that position so that it'll be more balanced. That's what we want, straight in front of us. Also, we're going to want to limit the player's movement. So heading up here to collision shape off, you might as well also go into the puppet and turn down his run speed to minimum. This does mean that any escort section you'll probably want to be somewhat short, just because, you know, escorting him around will be a little bit annoying otherwise. Or you could just increase his walk speed a little bit to help you know, compensate for that issue. We're also going to be turning off all of his run animations, so that it'll be a little bit more, you know, he won't be doing the weird crouchy thing. Also, why is his cone of vision still active? I'm a little confused by that. Oh, this is why. Yes, we're going to want to turn that off too. Go to Action Recorder. I guess don't turn off the... just turn off the tag, don't turn off the cube itself. That might cause some weird issues to arise. And just copy this out like so. Oh, he's still got the other cone of vision. Now, where does the cone... I forget. Well, it must be connected somehow to his, detection. Otherwise he wouldn't have it, you know. Alert turns it off. That means shut connects to wherever it is. Oh, it's an actual physical painting. I forgot about that. It's kind of different. kind of rare that I use physical paintings, but I guess it was the exact shape was difficult to get a hold of. Also, set this to play once instead of sustain, because we really don't want this, you know, happening too many times or whatever. Alright, now we've shut off all that stuff and he follows us around nice and easy. Now we're going to need the animation in question. This will be our final, you know, animation for him. We'll just pretend he's like holding a knife to his back or something. We're also going to pull the enemy in here so that we have an idea of what that will look like in the final version, you know. You could also have his hands up. It's not necessary to do this, but I feel like, you know, this will work, so... Now, of course, for the enemies animation, we're going to have it separate, mainly because, well, you know, the obvious issue of if you have an animation, you know, on an emitted object and it's separate, it's going to be a problem. So we're just going to go to this keyframe and turn off the friendly characters animations. I suppose if you have everything all in one scene, this wouldn't be a huge issue. Like if you never emit enemies, but I think emission's really good for leaving the thermo low, so generally I would advocate for it. Here will be the pose. Also going to put it on here so that he kind of, you know, gets directly into that pose. Also, calling this death might be a tad morbid. Let's call it taken, you know, very special set of skills. Let's put that right there. We'll also want the timing to be roughly the same. Alright, let's see how this works out. Oh, we also want the final animation to be active for the player. So put it in holding. And maybe rename it to pose so that we remember what it does. Perfect stuff. Alright, let's rewind. And now we got him and can maneuver him around. I might see if the follower is at full strength. He's kind of lagging outside of our intended parameters a little bit. Oh, also our pointer should be operating at full strength. Another thing we could do is pull him in closer. Let's see how this does. Just a tad closer. That way there's more wiggle room. But there you go. It's not perfect, of course, but I'd say this is a pretty good rendition of taking someone hostage. As good as you can get under the circumstances. Got fairly good speed, too. One thing you could do that might help with it a bit is you could turn down your turn speed so that you don't turn as quickly. It might be a little frustrating to the player, but it would help the overall look of the thing would be better, probably. Yeah, it's much better with slower turn speed. Tighten up the arm animation is another thing I might advise, but overall, you know, this is how you could take someone hostage, Splinter Cell style, or Metal Gear Solid. Also, you might want to move the player's head. Looks a bit like he's breathing down the back of his neck. Also, you can delete the animation on the CPU. The computer, as it were. Won't be needing it. Just gently lean the head this way, maybe. Could lean the whole body, even. Just lean it that way. Could probably judge better if he was mid-animation. Alright, let's give it a look. Yeah, that's much better. Also, giving him a gun or some kind of knife might help. Pull the arm back a little bit, too. It's probably a bit too far. Looks like he's trying to grab his wallet or something. But there you have it. Hopefully anybody who is interested in this is still around. Unfortunately, we put it off for a long time, but finally got around to it. Hope you find that helpful. Here are the names of all of our lovely cult supporters. Many thanks to all of you. If you'd like to get your name in those credits, check the link in the description and head over to our Ko-fi. You can become a cultist neophyte to become credited at the end of our video, or you can become an acolyte to gain early access to videos in addition to credit. Now, if you aren't in the mood for membership, you can always leave a one-time tip. If you enjoyed this video and are not already subscribed, consider hitting the subscribe button down below. And maybe give us a quick like, both options are free. Also, don't forget to ring the notification bell so you will always be notified when new videos come out. If you have any thoughts, questions, or suggestions, leave them in the comments section. Or if you just want to let out your pent-up rage, give us some smack talk. Until next time, goodbye.